Okay, we are live. Eds, you're live with us. Welcome, everybody, to this episode of PEPTalk, Productive Environment Podcast. Is AI the new paper tiger? Welcome, everybody. Just come on. Those of you that are joining us live, go ahead and get in here and get comfortable. We are going to have a fabulous conversation today. And I thought I was doing this episode alone, solo, but it turns out I was telling Barbara, we were talking about it early this morning, and she happened to be free at this time. So I was like, oh, you have to join me for this one. So here she is. I'm so happy. Is AI the new paper tiger? So if you are just brand new to us, I want to introduce Barbara Hemphill. She is known around the world as the paper tiger lady. Okay, so have you guys ever heard, those of you that are new, have you heard of the paper tiger lady? She got that, you got that nickname, what, 50 years ago?
1987. So
okay, 1987, the year before I graduated from high school. I always put things in perspective. And Maureen said, can't wait to hear this topic with both of you. Awesome, Maureen. So glad you're with us. So if you're just joining in, get comfy. We are talking about the paper tiger, which Barbara's been talking about for 50 years, and I've been talking about for 20 years. And here we are. So Kathy says, I love seeing you both together. Hi, Andrea, Barbara. Hi, Kathy. Kathy Music. She's one of our specialists, certified productive environment specialists. And we have talked about taming the paper tiger, taming the email tiger, taming the digital tiger for many, many years. And now we have a whole new tiger to tame, and that is with AI. So we're going to talk about that. But let's take a little trip down memory lane first. So Barbara, how did you get the nickname the paper tiger lady? Like, where did you, I know you didn't coin the term paper tiger, you adopted the term. Where did that originate for you?
Well, when I was writing my first book, I was writing it in 1987, sitting in my car on the banks of the Potomac River in Washington, D.C., much of the time, and trying to think of a way to make what I was writing about more, well, to use a term we use a lot, sexier. It's like, who wants to write who's going to read a book about organizing paper? Although ironically, we did republish it years later, and it's on Amazon now, related with that term, organizing the paper in your life. But I just was looking for a way to make it something that would interest people. And the term came up. I guess it was the Holy Spirit that gave me paper tiger. I just like, okay, it's a tiger. It feels ferocious. But the expression paper tiger actually its origin is from Chinese, and it describes something that appears fierce but really isn't. And that's exactly what we talk about all the time with paper, with email, with digital records, and now with AI. And it is a tiger if you don't tame it, but you can tame it. And that's what we've been about now for many, many years.
Yeah, that's right. So let's talk about each level of those things. So back in the late 80s, it was taming the paper tiger. I don't even know if you had, I was alive in the 80s too. I don't know what kind of technology everything was mostly paper, right? Even our Rolodex.
So when I ran that first $7 ad in the New York City newspaper, I just said, that I organized kitchens, files, and closets. That's what I mean. So I didn't know where I was going. But I quickly found that paper was the biggest problem, and everybody had it. Everybody had it. And everybody wanted to work on organizing everything except that. That was what they didn't want to do. And through the years, what we've discovered is there are still in today lots of people and organizations that still have paper. and they still procrastinate about it. That's the last thing anybody ever wants to do.
Yeah.
But I realized that the principles were the same, and that's so significant, is that the decision. So that was where the phrase clutter is postponed decisions came from, because I realized that those piles of paper that people were looking at were postponed decisions. That's what they were. And they were deciding, do I need to keep this? Where do I need to keep this? How do I find this? How long do I keep this? And they just didn't know. And so they just shuffled it from one place to another. So it's like, okay, we have to simplify this in some way. And so just through experimentation, I would sit with people with their paper and ask questions. And if you think about it, think about AI. AI is asking questions. And so I would ask questions about, why they were keeping it and what they were going to do with it. And over time, it took a long time, but over time realized that there were really only 3 initial decisions that you could make. And back then we said file, act, toss. And I used to say, clear the fat from your desk. That's the way we did it for decades. And then when you joined the team, you brought to my attention, first of all, you were the one that brought the attention. It was an initial decision, because the decision is act, but that's just the first decision. Then we have to go there. But you have to start there. And the problem was people don't want to start anywhere. And so that gives them a place. Well, then when you came on board and when you wrote the new book, SOAR to Success, it was like, and for decades, I've been saying organizing is an art. And I would say, paint a picture of what you want your life to be like, and then we'll help you get there. And that's what we do with information. And so we never tell people what they should do, because that won't work. We have to figure out, first of all, why they're wanting to, what do they want to organizing it for? Organizing in and of itself has no value. It is a system, a skill set, and habits to help you accomplish your work and enjoy your life. So what do you want to organize it for? And so then we moved it to art. And so now we talk about art, and regardless the information, and it's true for paper, it's true for email, which is where I went next. It was paper I did first. It was email that was second. Third was digital documents. And then you went into the cloud. We started originally the digital documents were all on your computer. Then we started getting into the cloud. So then you have documents in more than one, and then you have more platforms, and you get Slack and all of that. And now we introduce AI. But the same principle is true. AI becomes clutter if you don't have a system, and we use the acronym for system all the time, saving you space, time, energy, and money.
That's right.
Everything you have to do, filing your taxes is a good example. You know that as long as you are breathing, you are going to have to pay taxes. And the majority of the population every April starts getting knots in their stomach because they really haven't done anything about it. And this has happened year after year after year. And the best time to stop it is when you're in the middle of the chaos, because one of the things we taught originally years ago, I started with, was today's mail is tomorrow's pile. Because what would happen over and over, I would watch my clients. They would, okay, well, let's clear the old stuff first. Well, while you're over here clearing the old stuff, the new stuff is coming in. And so very early on in my work, I realized that the most important thing to do first was to stop the problem. And that's true with taxes. How do you stop the problem? You stop the problem by, Proverbs says, without a vision, the people perish. So you stop the problem by saying, oh, if I were able to do my taxes in a comfortable way, what would it feel like? What would be different than it is now? How would I do it? And then we take them to our 5-step process, which we use over and over. State your vision. What do you want it to be? Identify your obstacles. What's preventing you from doing it? What have you tried?
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, commit your resources. So it's like, are you going to do it in paper? Are you doing it by yourself? Who's going to help you? What platforms are you going to use? All those things. And then we go to step 4. My daddy used to use the phrase where the rubber meets the road. And that's what create and execute your plan is. And that's what we do in SOAR to Success. In SOAR to Success, we create a plan for you. And then 5, where most people fail, is to sustain your success. And what's so exciting is that if you learn those 4 steps, it's very easy to go back and fix the problem. It isn't a fixable problem. And sustain your success involves habits. And again, what we found in the SOAR to Success program is the 3 components that makes people able to get and stay organized. First, it's a system. Second, it's accountability. Why do we do taxes in October? Because we're accountable to the U.S. government. And we're all more willing to be accountable to somebody else than we are ourselves. So in SOAR to Success, we're accountable to each other. And 3, and this is really the linchpin that changed what we do from what everybody else does. And it's based on a value that I had when I started the National Association of Professional Organizers, which is together we are better. And it's community. There is so much shame around, in fact, when people quote clutter as postponed decisions, if you look, most of the time they add a word. They'll say clutter is only postponed decisions or just postponed decisions or merely postponed decisions. And that makes you feel even worse. But when they get on SOAR to Success in our community and they see other intelligent, creative, wonderful people who are also struggling, then they're able to accomplish their work and enjoy their lives because they know how to handle information. And your ability to accomplish any task or goal is directly related to knowing what to do next, what tool to use and how to use that tool. And that's what we teach.
That's right. That's awesome. I want to share, but we got Katrina, one of our specialists over in Australia, waving madly from Sydney, Australia. Love the wisdom you two share. Thank you. Awesome that you're with us. What time is it over there right now, Katrina? So let's go back for a minute to the original 3 initial decisions were the file, act, toss system. Currently, as Barbara shared, it's the art of organizing information. So now we're using ART, which is action, reference, or toss. So if we go back to paper, when Barbara, it's 2:13 a.m., she said, oh my goodness. So when Barbara started working with people on organizing their paper, let's just say at that time it was file, act, toss, same concepts, but I'm going to use ART now. So basically asking the question, do you need to do something with this piece of paper? Do you need to take action on this piece of paper? If so, it goes in the action system.
Or see that somebody else does it. So if you're a leader, if you're a manager, then you're doing it or seeing that somebody else does because there's still an action required.
And your action in that respect is delegate, right? That's still an action for you.
Yes.
Or is it just something you want to keep for future reference? Okay, reference, future reference. That's the R. Or is it something you can toss? So when we would sit down with people, physically in their office and now virtually as well, those are the 3 questions. We would say, pick up the first piece of paper and tell me, do you need to take an action on this? Do you need to keep this for future reference, or can you toss it? Right. And a lot of times they would toss more. You guys toss more than you would by yourself because you might not even start by yourself, but because you've got somebody with you, you enabling you, giving you permission to make the decision, you're going to toss a lot more than you think, but you don't have to, and we don't pressure you one way or the other. So that same framework, is this an action? Is this a reference, or can I toss it? Carried into email. Still, I shouldn't say carries. It's still happening today when you're going through your email. Do I need to take action on this email? Is this something I want to keep for future reference, or can I toss in an email it's delete? Same thing with the physical or the computer files, the cloud files, your documents. When you go in to clean that up, is this something I need to take action on? Is this something I want to keep for future reference, or can I toss it? Same questions. Now we're talking about AI. And in this example, I'm going to talk about ChatGPT, but we know there's ChatGPT, there's Claude, there's Perplexity, there's Gemini, there's Notebook LM, which I think just switched their name. It's moving so fast. And I don't know about you, but I no longer have just one. So when I first started using ChatGPT, if I was looking for something, looking up something, asking a question, getting information back, and I wanted to go back to that conversation, I could use the search, right? I could use the search and I could find that, I could resurface that conversation that I just left in chat. I just left it in there. I could pretty much resurface it, but that's getting harder and harder. The more you do in there, the longer that list gets. And I added Claude. So then that's another AI for those of you that are brand new to AI. I think everybody knows who Claude is at this point. But that's a whole nother level of stuff. So when I start thinking, oh, I want to get back to that conversation, now I'm like, oh, shoot, was that conversation in ChatGPT or was that conversation in Claude? And then I explored a few more. And so the more you add, the problem is the same as it was all the way back with the paper. More information, okay? More information that now has control of us, just like the paper tiger did, versus us having control of it. So, okay, I said, okay, let's zoom out because I was finding myself looking for lost information in my ChatGPT and my Claude. And Barbara, I know you have the same problem. I don't know. Do you use anything besides chat?
Yeah, I'm using Claude also. I have the same problem. I'm using Claude also. So
yeah. So there is a solution. First of all, use the frame. I'm going to try to share my screen if I can do it. I'm not as good as on this platform as we are on Zoom, but I'll try. Because I do want to demonstrate for you guys. Let's see. Katrina says, these days I find chat is good for some questions, but Claude is more strategic and likely less cheeky. Yeah, Claude is definitely more serious than ChatGPT. ChatGPT, I use a lot of emojis. And ChatGPT picked up on that and put a laughing emoji on every single output. And I was like, okay, easy on the emojis. So I guess that's a lesson for myself as well. But let me just do a quick demo. Let me see if I can do this. Share screen. And let me just do entire screen. That's probably going to be the easiest thing. And tell me if you are seeing, maybe that's not a good idea. I don't know. What do you see, Barbara?
I'm not. Oh, okay.
Is it okay? So let me.
It's too cluttered.
Yeah. It's that thing. I did the wrong thing. So hang on, guys. Let me stop that. Let me just share the.
While you're doing that, let me just say to some people listening, if you are a paper person and you love paper, I am one of those, but I'm doing both. So I'm keeping some of my paper is still really my preferable. We have something called a Swift file, which is my lifesaver, but I'm also using ChatGPT and Claude. So we really, part of the art of organizing is, we've often said, don't say what should I do, say what will I do. And what we want to do is help you figure out what you will do. And I'm a living example of it. We're very different, but we're using the same principles.
Yep, exactly. All right, I'm not going to share my screen because I'm going to mess it up. So let me practice that, and I'll record a video to show you guys what I'm talking about. But basically, all right, I want you to imagine, if you will, you're in your ChatGPT account. And on the left-hand side, in that left panel, it lists all the conversations you've had, right? With the questions you've asked, research this, find me a recipe for this, any of that information. And you're probably just leaving it there. And you're hoping you can find it again when you go back. And so what we recommend that you do, and I will do a demo for this to show you how we use it with our SOAR board. But whatever system you're using to capture information, you want to pull it out of ChatGPT. So there is a little share button. There's a little share button at the top, which will help you share that conversation. It'll actually give you a link to that conversation. So I'm going to speak to it from my soreboard standpoint. In my soreboard, I save everything that I need or want to get back to, and I can find it with a quick keyword search. So if I have searched a recipe for, I don't know, what's a good recipe for something?
Beets.
Soup. What did you say? Beets? Oh, Lord, no.
I knew you were going to say that. That's the reason I did it.
The only way my mom ever got me to eat beets was to tell us it was lipstick. She would say, all right, put your lipstick on. And we would put the beets on our lips to give us lipstick. Remember that, Mom? She's in the background. So I see her laughing. Okay, but let's say we want a recipe for how to make beets taste good. And so I searched ChatGPT. I say, hey, give me a good recipe for maybe a unique recipe for beets. And it brings it up and I get what I need. So at that point, I walk away from it, and now it's clutter. It's just in there, right? So why not make a decision at that point? Will I ever want to get back to this? Probably not. Maybe I don't ever want to make those beats again. Well, I can decide right then and there to toss it. I can go ahead and delete it, so it's not in that long list over on the left-hand side. Or I can say, yeah, I might want to make this again around the holidays. I don't know why you want to make beats around the holidays, but anyway. So I would click that little share button at the top of your ChatGPT screen. It gives me a link to that individual conversation. And then I would paste that into my soreboard. And I would actually put it under reference because I want to get back to it in future reference. And I would probably put it under B for beets. So in the future, it's going to be a whole lot easier for me to find it in my own soreboard, which is our proprietary system that we teach for managing all of your information. It's the art. It literally is the tool behind the art of organizing information. So if you're new, go grab this book on Amazon, Sword of Success, by Mastering the Art of Organizing Information, and finally get things done. And then if you sign up for our workshop, you will get your own soreboard. So the book tells you what to do. The workshop shows you how to do it. And we give you your own tool, your own soreboard to actually do it. And look, I got to post what y'all are saying over here. Let's see. If you make beats for the holidays, I will decline my invitation. Maureen, there's no way to make beats taste good. Hey, see, you guys are feeling me. You're on my side. Barbara, do you like beats? Do you eat beets?
Well, I do. I mean, I didn't used to, but I've learned that they're really healthy, and so I've learned to wage it.
Oh, okay, you learned to like beets. Okay,
yeah.
Well, that's.
I want to just mention one thing here, Andrea, that I think is really important. That will be fun for the listeners. In 1983, I created my first product.
I have it right here,
and it was called the To-Do Book. And now Andrea has created the soreboard, which is a digital version of the To-Do Book, which is just, and we didn't even realize that until after it was created. It wasn't, we didn't do that with the intention.
I was like, this is actually the To-Do Book. So I can show that. Let me just show the soreboard. So hang on, here we go.
And then the other thing is that the first book was Taming the Paper Tiger. And now the book Sword of Success is the updated version of that. So here's a picture of the soreboard. Oh, thanks for sharing it. That's perfect.
Yeah, this is a picture of the soreboard. So everything starts in the inbox, and we call this, instead of a brain dump, we call it a capture quest. And Barbara, you're doing this now. You said every morning you have how many different locations that you go to capture tasks, information, ideas?
There are 7 different locations that I check, and I have a paper in my Swift file because for me, the thing that are most important that I won't want to forget, I put in paper. So in my Swift file on every day is the list of the 7 things. So when I sit down to work or I sit down with my assistant to work, we go through those 7 things and make sure everything gets put in the inbox first, and it's life-changing.
Yeah. So let's give me an example of one thing, Barbara. I'm going to type it into the inbox. So something that you captured let's say this morning, even if you've got.
Well, just this minute, somebody texted me and they texted me or called and wanted to call. Then I was on the call.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I couldn't do it. I went to soreboard and typed in follow up with Rally on his call. And I typed it in right there.
Rally, Rally.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah.
Okay. So that's a task that just came. It just happened. So I'm going to click add. And now that task is on Barbara's list, right? Yeah. But it can't just stay here in the inbox. It has to have a next action. And that's where those 3 questions. Is this an action? Is it a reference, or is it a toss? And Barbara, I believe it's an action because it's something correct. You need to do. Yeah. So then we click action, and she's probably going to do it today. So we click today and we move on. Barbara moves on with her life at this point. And then when she has the availability to sit back down at her computer, she's going to click on today, and there's the task for her to follow up with Rally. So that's just one quick example of how, did you guys see? Yeah, you guys can see that. And I'll give you the beet example. So let's do beet recipe. For all of you guys that are going to come over and join my holiday dinner with the beets. I'll just say beet recipe from ChatGPT. Okay, so let's say that, and I'm having trouble with chat right now on my computer, so I can't go to it and show you. But let's say I've grabbed the link to it, to this recipe. So I'm first of all, I'm just gonna go ahead and click add, and then down here I can add the link. I'm gonna add the link, the share link that ChatGPT gave me, and I'm going to paste it right here. So pretend I've done that. Okay. And now I want to file this in my digital reference. I'm not printing it out, so I don't have a physical document. I'm just saving it in my digital reference, which is over here on the right-hand side under reference digital. Okay. There we go. So watch this. It's going to file it under the very first letter that you have here. So it's going to file this under B. If I wanted it under recipes, I would make recipe first, but I'm going to keep it under B. So I'm going to say it's not an action. I don't need to do anything with it. I'm going to put it in reference, and I'm going to click reference digital. It disappears from my inbox. And here it is over here in B under beet recipe for ChatGPT from ChatGPT. So this literally is the tool that helps you implement action, reference, or toss. Now, let's say there was something else. Let's say instead of saving that recipe, we decided we don't want to save it. So we can just go, you know what? I don't really need that. Let's toss it. And it's going to ask you if you're sure. And you say yes. And now it's gone. So
three, you know how we've always, with Productive Environment Institute, we've had certain principles that we have lived. They've just been our bread and butter, really. It's what we teach all the time. And there's 3 of them here that apply. First one is half of any job is having the right tool. It's using the right tool. My daddy used to say having it, and I say, no, it's using it. So that's what the soreboard is. Secondly, it's Hemphill's principle. If you don't know you have it or you can't find it, it is of no value. So you can have the greatest marketing idea in Claude, but if you didn't capture it, there's a good chance that you're not going to find it again. And then the last one is the cost factor, which is you can keep everything you want if you're willing to pay the price. And the price is time, space, money, and energy. So one of the things we've learned through the years with literally helping thousands of clients, I know people today that I taught these principles to in a one-on-one situation 25 years ago. And they will testify that they are still using it today because this is a system that they can understand. And that's based on the principle. The biggest problem that we see is most people think it's an organization problem. It's not. It's a systems problem. And frankly, most people are keeping way more than they can use. But one of the other principles is you can't change what you don't measure. And the SOAR board allows you to measure whether you're using it. So over time, and I'm a living example of this, over time, you keep less and less and less. As I approach my 80th birthday, I am so passionate about me making sure that I'm only keeping the things that I really care about. And that makes it so that I can accomplish my work and enjoy my life in a way that I never have in all the years of my life.
That's right. Amen. Let me wrap this up with a quick search, because you're not going to want to have to remember where you filed that beet recipe. So we are going to go up to the top and say it's time for Thanksgiving, and you want to find the beet recipe. So you're going to start typing in the word beet, and there it is. It tells you it's in Reference Digital under B, and you just click it and it takes you directly to it right there. So you could file, we could have filed that years ago, and it's going to show up when you know, find what you want when you want it, but find what you need when you need it. It's going to be there for you in our system. And that's the productive environment finding system that Barbara invented as well. So let me stop that share. I want to invite you guys, if you're new, to check out our workshop. So Eds, if you'll put the workshop link, and you get your own SOAR board when you sign up for this workshop. So workshop.productiveenvironment.com. It is delivered by Barbara and me, not live. So, but it is great. And it's really step-by-step how to implement literally what's in this book. So the book teaches you what, the workshop does the how, and then our SOAR to Success programs that come later, we help you do it together. And that's where the consistency, the accountability comes in as well. So check out workshop.productiveenvironment.com, sign up for that. We will give you your own SOAR board. So let me just do a couple of comments here, then we're going to wrap. My friend Kathy Powell, who I absolutely love. Kathy was my friend too. And Barbara's, my friend Kathy Powell tried to get me to use the system 15 years ago. I'm so grateful I finally found PEI. I'm finally almost organized. It is an ongoing process for me. And it's not just you, Maureen. It's an ongoing process for all of us. I mean, Barbara, can you imagine in the 80s when you were writing that book, that your systems would be working with artificial intelligence? that this is even, I mean, what was on Star Trek and on all the TV shows that seemed so far-fetched. You are still here. Your systems are still here, and it still works. It's still. And
as long as you are breathing, information is going to be coming, and your ability to accomplish any task or goal is directly related to your being able to find the information you need when you need it. And as you age, it's harder and harder to find that that information, and there's going to keep coming in. So now is the time to get a system in place. So it's a habit. Now I don't have to worry. I know how to do it. And I'm so grateful to Andrea for creating the SOAR board, because I couldn't have done it. I would not be doing what I'm doing right now without the SOAR board.
Because we didn't have a tool for a long time. We were implementing your systems, but there wasn't any one tool. Yeah. So I'm in love with the SOAR board. Barb is one of our SOAR members as well. And she said, so grateful to you for taking something so practically debilitating in my life and turning it into a totally manageable and enjoyable task. It is built to work for me and constantly evolving. Oh, Barb, music in my ears. I love that. Barb, I was just talking to Barbara about you this morning. I said you had 12 friends over and you were teaching them your system. I love it.
Thank you, Barb. We are so grateful, because the world desperately needs it. I mean, right now, the information overwhelm is horrendous. And one of the most overwhelming things is paper. I often, when I do presentations, I often ask people the question, if you left this earth tonight, what regret would you have? I cannot tell you the dozens of times people have said, the mess I'm leaving my family.
Yes.
And that has to do with information. It has to do with them being able to find the information they need in order to be the person you need them to be in the end of life.
Amen to that. Okay. If y'all have any questions, reach out to us, and we'd love to have you in our community, workshop.productiveenvironment.com. If you're not quite ready for the workshop and you want to just test the waters with a freebie, go to lesscluttermorelife.com, and there's a short video there that gets you introduced to our community. So if you're new, that gets you introduced to our community. You'll receive some emails and some next steps. So we encourage you to go there as well. So thank you all. And I love that that many of our SOAR members and many of our CPSs were here for this conversation. So it's super exciting. And I'm even more grateful that Barbara was available for this conversation.
Oh, listen, I just have to say, Andrea, God loves you, and so do I, and so do all the people on the call. He loves us, and he wants us to accomplish our work and enjoy our lives. And if your information is together, it'll be a lot easier to do. So thanks for joining us today, and I hope to see you again.
Thank you. We'll see you guys next week. I'm going to click end stream. So we'll see you guys. Subscribe, and share this video with somebody that needs to see it. Thank you.